Hello again, everybody. This is Calvin here at Calvinomics. This is episode 2 of my show, brand new show, YouTube. I'm just trying to do something a little bit new. If you didn't watch the first video, a little bit about me. Well, I have a master's from Texas State University. When I was down there, I worked for the radio station called KTSW 89.9 FM. It was a radio station owned by Texas State University. And when I was there, I got put in charge of the podcast and segment team. So create a few podcasts, worked with a variety of people, about 12 different people. So somewhere around 20 different shows. And one of my podcasts that I made was called Calvinomics. And so it was a radio show. It got broadcast on the air, just a small radio station. But I always wanted to do a YouTube channel. So it's been a few years that I've been wanting to do this. Just have to get outside my comfort zone and just start talking about things that I like. And I don't get to talk about much of this stuff on a day-to-day basis. And usually when I do, people just, let's just discuss it in a very calm manner. People argue, get mad, start blaming it on Biden or Trump or Obama. I'm not trying to do that. This is what it is. It's what we're dealing with. End of story. So it's how to rectify it and just understand, because a lot of people are frustrated that the prices of everything seem to be skyrocketing, especially if you're a millennial or Gen Z. You feel hopeless. You're still, you're 40, 45. You don't own a house. You're in your 30s. Some people do. But if you're just trying to make it on your own, trying to pay for college, which exorbitant prices if you're not getting scholarships, you're just like, you're kind of in a situation where it almost feels hopeless. It's not, but it's not great. So let's put it that way. It is tough. It is tougher. So one of episode 1 was about the national debt. This is the USDebtClock.org if you're looking at the screen. So in episode 1, I talked about the U.S. national debt and then kind of debt per citizen, debt per taxpayer, U.S. total debt, and just some other things. One thing I want to talk about today is tonight. Actually, just only follows 20 minutes after my last video. I just doing 2 in a night. Now that I'm kind of getting into it, we're going to talk about the home prices. So if you go to this website, there's the median home prices right here. So a lot of people. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired too. A lot of people talk about, yeah, like the older people kind of own 3 homes. One down south, one in the Northeast. Back when homes were $4,000 a piece. They're like, yeah, the interest rate was 22%. Yeah, 22% on $4,000 as opposed to 22% on $400,000 is a totally different scenario. And so either way, the mortgage rates are at like 7%, but still 7% on $413,000 as the median home price is a lot of money. I would say maybe around 100,000 extra dollars, if not more, over the life of a loan. Maybe around 150. This includes taxes, all the stuff that's built into the price of a mortgage. Because you're not just paying for the house, you got to pay the taxes, you got to pay the insurance, all the other things, and then there's like a certain amount that you have to pay until you pay a certain amount, and then that drops. It's just a mess. So let's go back to 2000 when things did seem simpler. If you weren't born then, well, disregard it. But anyway, there's always like nostalgia that things being cheaper and being better a long time ago. And in many ways, that is completely true. I know from experience. So we're going to talk about the M2 money supply, which is this money that's 22 trillion right here. And we're going to talk about the median home prices. Basically, the M2 money supply consists of saving deposits, small denomination time deposits, individual retirement accounts, also like IRAs, blah, 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 money market. Basically, it's essentially like money that people have on hand, not just essentially like big corporations, but also like government. So as you can see here, as the money supply has been increasing because the Federal Reserve has been basically just printing money, printing money, printing money. So that therefore the price of the dollar decreases. It's like, oh, $1 is still $1. Well, yes, but $1 buys significantly less than what it used to. You can still buy maybe a coffee at a gas station or this or that, but there's no longer like dollar value, like dollar, like at McDonald's, like the dollar menu, right? So you're like a $5 or whatever, $3, or it's a $2. So everything, the price of the value of the value of the dollar has decreased, which has made things cost more dollars. And so when people's pay, as you can see all the time, people are protesting a lot over their pay. I mean, from school districts, nurses, union workers, anything, everything, Starbucks. I'm not getting on political one way or another. It just is what it is. But things are expensive, and the raises aren't coming as fast as the prices are increasing. That's what people are frustrated about. So if you look at the price of a home back, the median price, $162,000. So if you're what does median even mean? So median definition is the middle value in the ordered data set separating the higher half from the lower half. So basically what you have, it's not really like, it can be the average. Sometimes this it'll be the number, but most of the time it's just more of like in the middle. Like if you have like a bunch of numbers here and a bunch of numbers there, and then say they're all various, it's somewhere in the middle. The median and the average are not the same, but sometimes they can be. So let's just leave it at that. So we're going to say $162,000 for the price of a home, which is actually pretty solid because that brings me to one of my childhood homes. And this is in Richmond, Texas, outside Sugarland. So I will go ahead and type that up in Google real quick. When I was a kid, I lived in Texas. Born in Texas, I live in Illinois now. Also lived in Rockford, and as well. Now I'm in the northern suburbs. Lived in Chicago, Austin, Dallas, Houston, Sugarland, and then my parents, my dad and stepmom at the time, we moved out to Richmond, which is where this house is based out of. I had to look this up before the show. So Timothy Lane. So if you watch here, sorry for 3626 Timothy Lane. If you are watching this show, I'm using your house as an example because I used to live here as a kid. Now, my dad said that he bought this house, I believe it was just over $100,000. Texas was also known to be very cheap. It is getting much more expensive now. We'll talk about that shortly. So we're going to show off this. As you can see, two-story house, covered garage. I remember these two garages right here, and then this sloped area. Right on the other side of that sloped area was my dad's office because he worked from home. I clearly remember that. The front windows, this is my brother's room. This was like the dining room area, front door. Then the front door leads right to these stairs. It's just kind of funny, actually. But the house is definitely remodeled. So as you can see, pretty big house. Well over $100,000 for this. You almost can't find that anywhere. Like, good luck. If you can hear my mouse clicking, sorry about that. Maybe I should get a quieter mouse, but this microphone's so sensitive. There used to be a pond back here. Actually, right where this fire pit is, there was a big pond and a banana tree. We had to fill that in because that being outside Houston in the temperate climate with a pond in the backyard, it attracts all sorts of weird animals. You don't want that. And then my room was up here in this little right there by the chimney area. So this house, thank you for whoever lives there. It looks like it got sold. It was sold. I don't know when it was up for sale. Don't really care. But it was at 340. It was listed for 340. I don't know what they may have gotten for it. But here is the range. So from when I lived there back in the well, it was about 1998. Man, it makes me sound old. 1998, 1997, about $100,000, maybe around it, maybe even less. It's gone up three times, almost four times in value. And then listed for 340. Who knows what it's sold for? Now, Texas is still relatively cheap, but the thing is, it's the property taxes that are killing people. I used to live there, and I know it. We're going to talk about that. So as the money supply increases, it looks like, oh, wow, people are doing good. They're having more savings, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, if you're printing a lot of US dollars and throwing them out there into the economy, the value of the dollar is going down, even though you have a bunch. So you have all this money, like, whoa, people's deposits, their savings are going up, their 401ks are going up. But yeah, that's great. But you can't even buy a new car now for like, or a great new car for like over $40,000. I mean, let's go back to the national debt. Average new car right now price is $51,356. That's wild. And so that's like sometimes that's like beginning salaries for people of a year, like an entry level, if not more. So good luck. And there's a house, but now it's you can see it basically 3x in the last 20 something years. I mean, it did get remodeled, so it looks a lot better actually. So let's go to cities with the largest increase in home prices over the last decade. So there's a website I found, constructioncoverage.com. Looks legit, but everyone has their own numbers. Feel free to debate me or throw in some other facts and figures. That's totally okay. I'm not going to get upset about it. I just like looking at this stuff. I'm not trying to, show anybody up, but it just is what it is. So as you can see here, the darker the color, the more the increase in home prices. Not surprised with Idaho. There's a big influx of people coming from these states to this state. A lot of people coming from these states down to this state. Texas, and you got, I'm not sure, really not much in the Northeast, as you can see, change, but it's still going up. It's dark over there, like Maine. Here I am in Illinois, and as you can see here, it's pretty light. It's already expensive, so whatever. And then Texas, as you can see, 80% to about 110% change in home prices. You got over here, the Southwest area. You even got late Nevada. I'm sure Las Vegas is helping to increase those prices. So let's go down here. Cities with the biggest 10-year increase in home prices. So when you have a city like Detroit, Michigan, and the price of a home in the last 10 years has gone up 203%, like that's astronomical. Okay, bottom large cities. So even in the bottom, you have a change of Washington, D.C., 30%. Tampa, Florida, 175. Dallas, I used to live there. When I was living there, it was getting outrageous. Just had to keep moving. Rent prices would increase. It became just unlivable. Did not enjoy Dallas. I was born there, but I moved to Austin. And if you thought Dallas was unaffordable, but I liked Austin. So anyway, Phoenix, and as you can tell, these are all substantially, excuse me, all substantially increasing. Fort Worth, I'm not surprised as you go Jacksonville. So as you can see, a lot of these southern states, and then some Midwest, you have Ohio, Milwaukee, and everything. It's a city, Wisconsin. And then bottom, but even with the cities that are not there, you can see the home prices in Austin, 85%. It's like that's at the bottom. The home prices are increasing 85%. You have to also factor in property taxes, which are going up significantly. And then that's Chicago, here we are, 45. But just the fact that in 10 years the price of a home has gone up $45,000, it's like basically if it's 200, if it's 100,000 bucks, that's 45 extra $1,000. If it's 200,000, that's 90 extra $1,000. If it's 300,000, that's 135,000 extra dollars. See, so it just keeps going and going and going. And it eventually gets to the point where it's like, wow, I can't even afford a home anymore. And then as you can see here, you can see all these increases. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into play. I personally think, yes, COVID exacerbated the situation. There was a lot of immigration, a lot of immigration. I'm not even going to get into that, but there was. And people have to live somewhere. We weren't having homes being built, but yet there's people moving around. They're selling their homes. They're panic buying. And I think we're still dealing with the effects of that. So let's go here, large cities. Percentage change. As you can see here, Detroit, total change in median home price, last 10 years, 2024, $50,000. 2024 median home price 75, and this still, I mean, this is from 2024. So I mean, it's still good information, but chances are it's increased. So as you can see here, sorry, take some water. If you have a median household income of $38,000 and the home price is 75, I mean, it's not horrible, but as you can see here, 2014 from 24 to 75, that's a $51,000 increase. And then you start getting to the point where the gap becomes a lot more significant. So Tampa, Florida, as an Ava home price of 375 grand, median income of 72. So now you're about $300,000 behind. And then that's the same thing with a lot of these other places to an extent. So you got Charlotte, North Carolina, almost $400,000, and then you're making 80 grand a year. So you're about, you're about 5 times behind. So it takes, 80 times 5, 400. So this it doesn't sound bad, but you still got property taxes, you got insurance, you got other bills, and therefore it just drags cars, school, gas, taxes, and this household income, therefore, while it might be 80 grand, is that pre or post tax? And chances are that's pre tax. And that's where the discrepancies start to happen is the home prices are increasing substantially over the median household income. And this is what people are facing, especially in the large cities, which is the problem because now you have large cities that have gotten to be very expensive, but they have all the jobs. And then you try to get an apartment, and the apartments are expensive. But then you want to buy a house. And remember, apartments used to be temporary, but not so much anymore. Let's take a look at another place. Even here, I don't know why this one stood out. Louisville. No one even talks about Kentucky, but the price of a home went up 107,000, and then 242, and then median income 61. So you need four times. It's four times behind. So as you can see here, this is where let's just see where Austin's at. Oh, there it is. $237,000 home price. And then, as you can see here, average home price 2024. Not surprised to see that. Thought it was actually higher. 515,000. Average income 91. So I think the actual prices of homes in Austin have fallen, but I don't know. Let's see. Average home price Austin, Texas. You're looking at about 435, 430, 439. The city of Austin remains higher with median prices around 550, which makes sense. Home prices. Chicago, Illinois, median. Just gonna type that. I didn't spell it right. Whatever. So, and then of course this information to verify 330 to 355, which is not bad compared to Austin. I also feel like you get more being in Chicago. However, the property taxes here are what kills you. However, the property taxes in Texas are definitely catching up, for sure. When I was down there looking for homes, you would see the average, basically, of price. You would see the property taxes increasing anywhere from 20 to 30% year over year, and that's what was starting to sink people. So as you can see here, 2022 looks like there was a big um, arch, and I think this is basically where it crashed. And then it looks like it's gone down. So this is where people start buying around this area, 659, 660 in 2022. It has tanked, and most likely it's going to level out somewhere in the 450 range. I can't see it really going below that anymore. There's just too many people. I can't ever see a home price in Austin going below $400,000, the average, the median home price. So if you are looking for a home and you're struggling and you're figuring, you're like just, you feel disenfranchised, you aren't alone because 413,000. And if you look at the median income, I talked about this in the last episode. Median income is only $51,000. Median home price is 413,000. So basically, the price of a home from the 2000 and now has gone up 2.5 times, and the average salary has gone up $20,000. So this is a difference of 250,000. Average price of a home has gone up 250, yeah, around there, and the salary has only gone up 20 grand in 20 years. So when someone's giving you crap, hey, you gotta work harder, work more, just buy everything on cash. Some of these things are absolutely unreasonable. That these things were possible to do. I remember being a teenager, have $20, go to Taco Bell, and you were like a king. I mean, you could just walk out there with bags of stuff. And this was not that long ago. It makes me sound like, okay, boomer, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do. Like I trust me, I'm still young enough to know like that it sucks and how good it was. Not even, man, just within the last 10 years. And even when I taught middle school a couple years ago, even back then, these were middle schoolers just a couple years ago, and they were asking me why things are getting so expensive. They're like, I remember being in fourth grade and Takis were only $2.99 a bag, and now they're $7. I said, yeah, yeah. I mean, these are people who are teenagers already talking about back in their day. So you're not alone. So what can you do? I'll start talking about things like that. But I mean, at this point, the only thing is you gotta find basically a job that's going to be in demand. And that is also becoming hard just because things turn over so quickly. So, in terms of making money, things that keep up with inflation, I think it's all about the trades at this point. A lot of millennials got conned into going to college. You have a lot of outstanding debt. Gen Z, they're trying to do the same thing, but it's all about the trades. I feel like those pay well. Those keep up with inflation, and those are always in demand. That's where I'm moving into. I used to be a teacher. I still like teaching. Uh, that the salaries are pretty decent, and I do work on the side. However, I do regret not going in a trade, electrician, um, even like a plumber. All the jobs that people used to make fun of are actually like back when I was a kid are actually like the jobs that are honestly some of the best. But in the meantime, yeah, it's gonna be a rough ride, especially if you're younger, if you're a millennial. We're just gonna have like one of the quotes I remember hearing. I don't know who was said by, but I remember hearing in the podcast like of some generations much is given, of some generations much is asked. And I feel like we're one of those. These next few generations are going to be much is asked in terms of taxes, as well as not as we're not going to get as much for what we used to. So there you go. Median home prices. Yeah, I don't really have a solution for you, or else I'd figure it out and do it myself. But right now, you just got to work, just become educated, and just try to keep getting those raises. That's really what you can do. And yeah, save what you can. But when someone starts getting in your case, they want 20% down on a $413,000 house. Some of these things are unreasonable to ask for, especially when the income has only gone up 20 grand from 2000 to 2026, and that home prices have increased 250, and that's just one of the increases. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but it is what it is. This is what we're all facing. And the next video, I would like to talk about tariffs. That is a big topic. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I'm just going to, maybe I will. Maybe I'll research that, and there'll be a few series. It'll be a segment series. So be stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed the last couple of videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.